look pretty rough this morning. Hi, so it's December 31, New Year's Eve, and it's been 2 months or more since my last vlog. I just thought that it would be a good time to do a little recap of the year and basically just kind of like update you guys of what has been going on during the past couple months since my last vlog. So basically the year started off not so strong. So I got diagnosed with rhabdomyolysis at the end of December 2022. So basically the early January was just kind of slow trying to recover from that, and I also had the stress reaction still going on, and I didn't get to start running again until mid-January. Okay, so it's Wednesday, January 18th, and I'm ready for my first little run after my big injury. So January was just kind of like a double whammy with injuries and illnesses, but I kind of slowly started getting back to normal. February was a pretty good month. I got to run more. I got to build my mileage, build my strength again after all the setbacks. And in March we went to Lanzarote, which was such an uplifting experience after such a bad winter. We really loved it there. It was just a great experience. I was just so happy and in a great mood. And I also got selected for the first ever TTL Devo team, so that was a super nice thing that definitely changed the trajectory of my year and just kind of everything. I was so happy to be a part of the program. In April I did some local road races, like running races, and training was going pretty well, and I was getting ready for my pro debut, but then my legs started hurting again. Or feeling weird again, and it didn't really start hurting until very close to the race, and we had already kind of like traveled to Marbella and kind of settled in, and I realized that there's something wrong with my leg for sure, that it's not just, you know, feeling funny, there's something wrong. But since we already were there and I knew that I was gonna have to take some time off from running, I decided to do the race, and it didn't go well. It was such an eye-opening experience in many ways, and yeah, I just kind of realized that pro racing is a lot different from age group racing, and I have a lot of work to do. So after the race we had like one vacation day in Marbella, then we came home and I got an MRI for my leg, and there was another stress reaction. And that moment was kind of a turning point. It was very disappointing to be injured again, but I felt like that moment just kind of, or that experience made me look for change, and I started asking for help for kind of figuring out what was wrong with me, or what could potentially cause these injuries all the time, because I thought I was doing all the right things and taking the best care of myself, but something was still wrong. So I was getting some testing done. I started talking to David Tilbury Davis, my coach, since I kind of learned more about him, and I realized that maybe I need external help for coaching. And we decided to start working together at the beginning of June. And I think June, honestly, even though I couldn't run basically at all yet, I was definitely thriving in June. Training was going quite well, like all the new stuff was exciting. I was happy. We were working really hard with Robert. He was helping me with so much stuff, and we were like looking for aero gains. We finally got my aero coach stuff, and Robert was helping me to change my position for more aerodynamic, and I think we were able to achieve big differences with the small resources that we had. Then came July, and I finally got to start running a little bit more, And a couple weeks before my A race of the year, I started doing a little bit more of race pace running, but very little, to be honest. Like, I was a little nervous before the race that I hadn't run enough of the race pace, but then then I also got sick before the race, just a couple days before, and I wasn't sure if I could start, but I just, you know, I had worked so hard all month, all 2 months, like June, July, and it was my huge goal to come back at that race and do well at that race. So I just kind of like decided that to not be affected by the sickness, and I just went for it, and I surprised myself with a big performance that I'm still really proud of. But I think July is still more like, or like what I remember of July is like all that like belief in myself and the time I put in, like the training, and like that I was trying to do everything I could to make that comeback. And that's why winning that race felt just extra good, because I had like really like, you know, put myself fully into the process, and like, you know, had changed coaching and changed everything, and I still like believed like this is gonna happen, like it's gonna work out even though I'm injured and everything. But then yeah, I got really sick after the race, obviously, because I was like a little bit sick, or, you know, like not super sick before the race, but then after the race I was like extremely sick for like a week or so. In August I did some time trial racing and another triathlon, and you know, just enjoy like a little bit of like less pressure on racing before I started getting ready for 70.3 Augusta. We flew back to the States, and then we got sick again, so I was sick like twice in a month, and I was having a great time being back in the US and back in Knoxville, and like, you know, doing all our typical things there. But I think getting sick again definitely like made me nervous. Before Augusta I didn't feel as fit anymore. Training had been going terribly. So then in Augusta I just decided to, you know, just see what happens, and I honestly surprised myself there. I didn't expect to be in top 10, and I was 6th there, and I think I was pretty proud of my performance, especially because the run was just awful. I felt so bad and I didn't think I could finish. So I think that was a good end for the season. Then I took some time off, and in October started getting back into normal training again. I really loved doing the local trail running races in Ohio. That was just the highlight of the fall. And then we came back to Finland in November, so we're gone for 2 months. So I think it was nice to come back. I was really enjoying, you know, getting back to my own routine, and like getting back to swim practice, and like just, you know, doing my normal stuff at home. And November training was going really well. Like, I just got really strong on the bike. Swimming was going well. I was super proud of myself for like just doing these hard workouts on the trainer and like getting really strong. But then in December we finally got the coronavirus. So we've been able to avoid it for the past almost 4 years. And in December I got sick first, and then Robert got sick, and then that's why my voice still sounds like this, because I feel like I've recovered like relatively well from the sickness, and I've been able to start training again, mainly just like aerobic training, no efforts really, but I still have this a little nasal voice, and I also have some more fatigue than normal. Yeah, another thing that has happened this fall is that I rolled my ankle 3 times, and that's been another thing that's been kind of affecting me and my training. Basically, I haven't been able to run as much. I've been able to run all the time, but I have need to do a lot of rehab for the ankle. But it should be okay. I think the COVID also kind of helped with that, so I got a little bit more rest for that ankle. So I guess like the silver lining of getting sick is that my ankle might make a full recovery now, because I didn't run for like over a week. So yeah, something positive, I guess. December just kind of flew by because we were just sick and then recovering from the sickness. And it's quite disappointing to get sick after a great fall of training, but also I guess this is the time to be sick if I have to be sick at some point, because my next race is not until like 4 or 5 months from now, so it's okay. But I think overall it's been a net positive year. I got a lot of happy and healthy mileage in me after all the setbacks at the beginning of the year, and despite all the injuries and illnesses and all that stuff. I met some awesome people. We traveled to cool new places and visited the old. So I trained about 100 hours more this year compared to last year, a little under 1040 hours, improvement there. I swam more than ever this year, ran a little bit less. Obviously injuries and illnesses affected how much I could run. Basically a little bit more of swimming, a little bit more of biking, a little bit less of running, but overall about 100 hours more than last year. Yeah, so that's basically everything. I have planned to make some changes in the vlog. Definitely a new intro since I'm not a prookie anymore. And then hopefully also a little bit more time and effort in the vlogs. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. And see you next year.